Oh my god. So I'm continuing with this story. My mom wanted to hide the cake. She wanted to hide it away from the visitors that were coming that night. This part is setting up that the cake was going to be hidden, that again it's pretty important because she wants it to be a surprise. Yes. So she and her friend put the cake in a big box, and then they put it away in the study. And then Phyllis's godmother came. She brought her husband as well as her two daughters. I was really excited because I was an only child, and to have playmates was a big deal for me. So going back a few steps, she has introduced 4 new characters. She has set up that she was excited to see them. The tone of her being a lonely child, I think, is important to the overall thing of the story, with her feeling injustice and kind of maybe trying to get sympathy out from the audience. So Lisa was my age, and then her sister Rena was a year younger than me, and we decided to play a game of hide and seek. So we're getting more specific information. The fact that they're all similar ages, I think, is important to the type of playing that would happen. Again, and that was sort of a list, a very small list. So we're playing hide and seek. Lisa was it. At one point, I was hiding in the living room, but everyone was being found easily. So I think the fact that everyone was being found easily will set up the later contrast of trying to find a harder finding spot. She's actually started the storytelling part of the game by transitioning into that. Three or four rounds later, it was Lisa's turn again, and we were having a lot of fun, but it wasn't really working well because everyone was just finding each other right away. 3 or 4 rounds later clarifies some time. And again, setting up the fact that this wasn't quite working right, and so that maybe something different's going to happen soon. So we decided to hide in the study, and I remember the door slammed so loudly. I was so surprised her sister didn't find us just from the door slamming itself. So now we're in the study, which was previously set up as the hiding place for the cake. So obviously something exciting, bad, good is about to happen in the story. So we were really tired and we're just laughing so hard, and Lisa decided to sit down because she was tired, and she sat on the cake box. So obviously something really intense is about to happen in this story. She uses "so I was tired" as a reason to explain for why the person sat down. It was horrendous. I screamed. The box she sat on was the one that had the cake in it. So the screaming is probably going to alert people that something bad had happened. showing that she feels upset. So I screamed and I called my mom, and I remember, all I really remember is that I got spanked. So calling my mom was a transition into the next part, which caused the spanking, and that is obviously a negative thing, at least the way that she's talking about it anyway. And so that is definitely negative, which was sort of the main point of the story, was that this was negative, that this experience happened. I remember I got spanked, and I was so mad because Lisa and Rena didn't get spanked, but my mom told me it was my responsibility, it was my house, we shouldn't have been in the study anyway. So the big, beautiful cake was ruined, and I remember feeling at the time that it was an injustice. All I was trying to do was play hide and seek. So she uses the word injustice, and I think that that's a very strong word, and so I think that it's sort of trying to express the intensity with which she is upset about that. And I remember the next day, my parents were talking about how half the cake was ruined and how it's because the kids were playing. Setting up the final moment of the story, which will, again, emphasize the fact that she felt very ostracized by the experience. I will always remember that. I just feel like it was one of the injustices of my life, and my mom, I mean, I look back now and I laugh, and so I assume so does my mom. So that, I believe, is the end. Yes. So she wraps up the story by again using the word injustice. One of the injustices of my life. I mean, it obviously left it had an intense impact on her, so she clearly is sort of restating how important this was to her. I guess that's it. I don't know if that was discourse analysis, but I hope so.